So this is the much requested sequel to the video I did with NerosCinema a couple years back, which was a huge success, huge hit. So we're doing it again. We're running it back. I'm going to do part 1 on this channel. His part 2 will be up on his channel. It's about a 3-hour podcast conversation we had. So if you guys like this sort of thing, drop a like on this, leave a comment. Just let me know you dug it, and go check his side out as well. We continue the good talks all throughout it, and I will leave his link in the video description. And as always, thank you for today's sponsor on this video, because YouTube pay is kind of bunk. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right on into the meat and potatoes here, because viewer, we got a lot we want to get off our chests. I'm just going to start recording here because I went to, I think, I'm not sure if you saw the post or video or whatever I did where I evacuate because of the ice storm. It wasn't like a snowstorm, which isn't a big deal. It was like a fucking ice storm, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna go to the coast because I don't want to be without power for like a week. That seems not super fun. And I take my laptop and my mobile studio and I go there, and the shit just refuses to work. Like everything just that could go wrong with that laptop went wrong.
Yeah.
And come to find out, you know, my viewers were like, yeah, Windows released a series of updates that just completely fucked everything up. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that probably explains it then, because I just updated the thing before I left. So I just couldn't do anything for, 4 days. And
I did see the video and I was mesmerized. The story and all that, I enjoyed the story and all that because I think we all agree the world just sucks now. But I was mesmerized. You're playing on drone there. And I'm like, man, and you said in a recent video, if I could go back in time and say, save all your video files. I have nothing from like the OG days of like Black Ops 2. I have nothing back from Modern Warfare Remastered for some reason. I didn't save any of my old gameplay. So seeing like the old Black Ops 2 stuff from that time period or around that time period was really cool. But I had the same experience with a laptop. I went to Los Angeles years ago for the Borderlands 3 event. I love Borderlands. It just sucks that it sucks now. And I bought a laptop. It was about the same price as yours. I get out there just to find out I can't run Sony Vegas on it. It's not powerful enough. And I'm like, oh, great. This is wonderful. So that laptop now is, my brother takes it to work so he can like watch YouTube and shit on it. I'm like, great investment.
Yeah. Dude, you'd think I bought like a fucking Chromebook that you would give your Aunt Gertrude, so she can watch like knitting videos. But yeah, no, it's just, I mean, maybe it will improve with the future updates, but like it was just unusable. I would start the editing software and it would just crash. Like, the old editing software I had wouldn't even boot for some fucking reason. So I had to update Vegas. I still use Vegas.
Same.
Yeah, it's just I don't want to learn something new. I don't have time to learn something new. So it's like,
have you ever tried? I tried
to learn
Adobe Premiere. I tried Adobe Premiere, and because everyone says, at the time especially, it has this stuff in there where it can use your CPU to render faster, and Vegas can do that now. But I wanted to do that because I used to do a bunch of like longer videos, especially on the second channel. And I get Premiere, and I kid you not, I had to Google how to raise or lower the audio of the gameplay. I couldn't figure it out. It was not user friendly whatsoever. I'm like, this is the most confusing software. Sony Vegas is so simple. What'd you say? You're going on to year 19. I'm going to year 15 here. I'm set my ways. I make my thumbnails in Sony Vegas. I do everything in Vegas. Yeah. So
yeah, no, I've been using Vegas. Like, I downloaded an illegal fucking copy of Vegas back in the day because that's what someone said to do.
Yep.
And I used a Blue Snowball, and guess what fucking mic I'm using? Not the Snowball, but I'm still using Blue microphones, which I think is just a subsidiary of Logitech now. It's not even like Blue anymore.
Yeah.
But if it's not fucking broke, I don't want to fix it. So I would prefer just to, in that case though, it was broke, but it was, I'm pretty sure it was just Windows, the laptop, whatever. Because it's never had an issue before running Vegas. I bought it to render when I'm not at home and make videos when I'm not at home. So,
well, you did a whole like mobile thing there where you were traveling a whole bunch and you're on the road a whole bunch. So you kind of needed something like that at the time. That was fascinating.
It worked. Yeah, it worked then. So what changed in 2 years? You know what I mean? Like
everything just sucks now. I don't know.
Oh man, well, so we're recording this now, but I should let the viewers know my Keurig. I just bought this thing, like it's like a smaller one, like just a single cup. Uh, but my Keurig just basically exploded. Like it started leaking fluid from every part of it that wasn't the spout, like where the liquids is supposed to come out. So I don't know what that was about. Maybe there was a clog or something. I don't know, but it leaked all over my coffee table, my countertops or whatever. So it was a huge mess. So yeah.
So it wasn't user error, nothing like that. It was just the thing itself, kind of.
No, I put water in it, and I put a K-cup in it, and I put my, dog father mug underneath it, and, no, I got a picture.
Because I've user
It's
errored a couple of things in my life that I will admit now, but at the time I was a little embarrassed. I think it's hard
it
to mess up a
happens, yeah.
Keurig machine. So
Yeah.
random tangent here. My shower, random water pressure issues, just wasn't working out that right. I Google how to fix it. I'm like, oh, that's pretty simple. I go in to fix it, and I skip step one because you watch a tutorial, you skip the first 30 seconds, where we just hurry up and get to the nitty gritty of it. Step one was to turn off the water to the house. And I didn't do that. So I take the head off and everything. Water comes flying in. It's like boiling hot water. It goes throughout my entire bathroom and everything. And thankfully, it wasn't too bad. A little water got into the wall, and it caused a small little hole in the ceiling in my living room, which I had to patch up. But other than that, it was good. And so, yeah, there's definitely some user error out there in the world. But I think your Keurig machine just kind of decided, you know what? Today's not your day. You're not going to have any energy today.
I might try it again. The only thing I could think of is it was, like, clogged for some reason. I don't know why it would be, but anyway, I wanted to just throw it in the trash out of anger, but I I decided it's like $60, so
Can we take a
I
second
can't
to
be doing that.
acknowledge the fact that this year, Call of Duty came out, Battlefield came out, freaking Borderlands came out, and we're talking
Mhm.
about showers and Keurig machines.
My last video was basically bitching about the weather and my laptop. Yeah.
I went
No,
back and watched our old video. It was the same thing. It's like, man, there's like, how is there nothing happening right now? How is there nothing going on? And here we are
there
again.
is some stuff, like, if we did, like, I wouldn't have ever found out that, like, your last video or whatever, I would have never found out that they've hid skill-based matchmaking data unless some random guy said it, and then you covered it, you
Yeah.
know?
I happened to be on the
So
subreddit. It was right there. I'm like, no way. They
yep.
actually did that. And they did. I should actually send an email out and try to get my data so I actually get like an image of it, because nobody's posting actual images. They're just describing what they see. And I've always been like a visual person. I like to show things in my videos, but apparently all they'll show you is like your name, maybe your address, your IP address, and what you've bought from the shop. That's all they'll give you now. And so what are they hiding here? What are they? If skill-based matchmaking is truly gone, that should be reflected in the data that they send you, right?
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
but they're hiding
Yeah.
it now. It's just not there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, it's 100%, like, I can't tell you, so if you as a YouTuber did not go over, and I thank you for doing this, if you didn't go over the stuff that comes out, like, with new updates or new season content or, season whatever, 69 reloaded, 67 reloaded content, I would never know what the fuck they're doing this year, because when I say I'm checked out, I don't even want to boot up the game to look at, like, the menu. That 15 minutes I played, I is all I played.
well, it's
Like,
going to take you 15 minutes to boot it up. So you're going to have like 3 or 4 updates. Update requires restart. You have to go through and skip a couple cinematics. Then the black cell's going to pop up and say, hey, last chance if you want to get last season stuff. And then after you get through that, the new black cell's going to pop up. You're going to have to skip through that. Then eventually you're going to get to the multiplayer. And then you're going to have to wait for your shaders to compile, which will then probably make you have to go and do an update requires restart once again. And it's just the most painful. Like, remember you booted up COD 4, you hit Team Deathmatch, and you were in the lobby in under 10 seconds.
dude,
That was the
you
beauty.
booted up COD 4. You got the intros, which weren't even a part of the, like, loading of the game. It was just this, the FMV intros or whatever they did.
50,000
Infinity
people.
Ward logo, 50,000 people used to live here. You could skip it within a half second, you know? You hit play, and then you hop into whatever mode you want, and it's all loaded and done. You could boot up the game and get into a multiplayer match, and I know this because I played, COD 4 for like 3 years straight. You could do that in 30 seconds.
Easily.
No shit. Yeah, no
Private
shit.
match was the
On
same
old
way.
hardware. Yeah.
Private match, it blew my mind. I'd go to a private match to do whatever, I forget what. But you pick ambush, for example. You hit start. The map would load in under 2 seconds. And you're right there in the match, and you're able to start running around. It was so fast on the Xbox 360. Meanwhile, we have like, or I'm not sure about your set, but I have like a NASA computer now that was built for me by E-Rock. And booting up anything takes forever in Call of Duty. And it's only Call of Duty for some reason. It's like the most poorly optimized game in the world. And you said you saw that video, and I talked about packet burst in there. Even if I wanted to jump on and just play some domination or something like that and like get through all that nonsense, I'm going to be jittering around. I think the example I gave was like, I'm stuttering around like an alcoholic pushing a shopping cart down a gravel road. It's everything does not. It's almost like there's a magnet on both sides of my character, and they're constantly fighting as to like which side I should be on. Nothing ever feels in sync when I play. And then on top of that, you have the matchmaking, you have the bad teammates, you have everything that's going on. And I'm like, I don't want to play this. This is not enjoyable right now for me. And that sucks because we both started with COD all those years ago. And I think at our core, we still love the COD franchise and want it to be like it used to be, but it just isn't anymore.
It's so frustrating too because I watch your videos a lot, and I've noticed, I'm sure you've noticed, I've noticed that the packet burst symbol has gone from like yellow to red since the game's come out.
Yellow to orange to red, and sometimes it changes, but mostly I get a steady red nowadays.
and you're not alone there. I have a fiber connection. My PC, it's not quite NASA, but it's I could probably sell the thing for a profit now, even though it's a few years old because of the stupid AI price gouging of SSDs and RAM and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's a 4070 Ti, 13900K. It's not a small fry PC. No issues running Battlefield, pretty much maxed out. I got some settings lower just for extra frames.
Well, like shadows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Ambient occlusion or whatever.
Right. I like 100 FPS plus usually. That's just how I do it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no issues at all running, whatever. And that game, like Call of Duty, just runs like shit. And people keep offering solutions, and I try them, and it's exhausting because it never fixes it. I've tried everything. I know you have, but you probably tried more than I have.
I realized that after the fact, I was going to include them in the video when I was talking about packet burst, but I took a bunch of screenshots of Google, and it's every link is purple. Every video link, every Reddit link, every like forum, like they're all, look, I've tried everything. Nothing. I've gone through, you change your DNS or whatever, so you go to like the Google servers, and you're like, okay, maybe the Google servers don't work, so you try these other servers. Like I'm manually doing everything I possibly can. Nothing works. And I'm at the point where I've given up. It should not be this difficult to play what is supposed to be the biggest game out there. It's freaking Call of Duty and everything. It's, breaking records every year and all that. Like, well, how come I can barely play the game? Everyone's like, well, let's go back to console. It's like, I shouldn't have to go back to console at this point.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to. So they raised the price of the, the consoles the past couple of years or whatever. So I took that as my opportunity because my fucking consoles are paperweights. I have no real desire to pay to play online anymore. No real desire to, be stuck using that console's controller or whatever. So I'm like, well, let's go switch to PC. Everything's on PC now, whatever, crossplay, whatever. So I sold my Series X when they raised the price of the thing because why wouldn't I? I don't use it, so I might as well make some money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So all my consoles are gone.
My console, I don't even want to play it anymore. So like we talked about being kind of like set in our ways and whatnot. My monitor, I love my monitor. It's I know you just went to 1440p, didn't you? Like not too long ago.
Yeah, I'm looking at a 1440p Alienware. I got it for Battlefield. People kept saying if you can't see, and I couldn't see shit. I still can't see shit on Battlefield. Get a 1440p monitor, and I'm like, okay, this helps. It's still not perfect, but it helps. Okay.
Well, there's something with the console and how it works. And my old ass monitor, it's 1440p, 1 millisecond, like 144 hertz, which is fine for me. I think it's still good, but I think my monitor came out like around like 2015 or something like that. It's a pretty old monitor, and something about it, I cannot run 120 hertz 1440p on my console. I have to do either 1440p 60 hertz, which is awful. Going back to 60 hertz is near impossible for me now. So then I have to play 1080p if I want to get 120 hertz on console. So I'm playing 1080p on the 1440p monitor, and it looks like shit. It runs like shit. And it's like, I'm not buying a new monitor, especially nowadays. We're talking like $300-$400. I'm not doing that just because my console can't recognize my monitor for some reason. So I don't want to play console. I might as well do what you do and just sell the thing because I don't really have a use for it.
Yeah, it's annoying having to keep up with like, if you get a new monitor or whatever. Like for example, I actually had uh, a BenQ screen from, I shit you not, Jesus Christ, how old was this thing? I want to say I got it around MW3, the OG. Yeah,
Wow. Mine's BenQ.
2011.
It ain't that old. Mine's like 2015, 2016.
Yeah, I'm 99% sure it was that old. I'll have to check my Amazon purchase history and go all the way back, but I'm pretty sure it's that same one because it just would never die. It
Mhm.
would never die. And being a YouTuber, I'm running this thing daily pretty much.
All the time.
So, yeah. And it would not fucking die. So eventually I'm like, okay, I'm getting some like weird light bleed behind the screen, like where the screen's kind of like wavy. I'm not sure what you call that.
I don't
It's
know.
still usable. Yeah, it's still usable. It was just fine. And I'm like, well, I guess I should get a new 1080p and then like a new 1440p to round out the setup here.
Mhm.
So I do that, and I have a new monitor now, but I did not throw that one away. I gave it away. I gave it to a friend of mine because it still
Yeah,
works.
I ended up doing
So,
that. I had a PS5 just because you remember when COD had the exclusivity with PlayStation and Sony. I
mhm.
being a YouTuber and all that, I guess we're lucky in certain ways. Like, well, if I'm going to play the beta or play the stuff early, cover it for videos or whatever, I need to get a PS5. So I got a PS5. Well,
Yeah.
once they got rid of all that, I didn't need a PS5 anymore. I wasn't going to use it, even like exclusive games or whatever. I don't care. So what I did is I ended up giving it to, well, technically it's my girlfriend's nephew, and because he always wanted a PlayStation real bad and everything. Like, well, here you are. It's one of those things where I guess you can kind of pay it forward. You had that monitor forever and it was always going good. So why not just let someone else use it?
Yeah, no, I've given away just like I'm not a big fan of this is me personally. I'm not a big fan of selling stuff on like Facebook Marketplace because basically instantly, I'm annoyed because I will set the price well below, what the thing's worth, well below everyone else. Like I sell it or I price it to sell. Yeah, I undercut everyone else,
You want to get rid of it.
and they will yeah, like I want to get rid of it and they will still try to get like a deal out of it and I'm like, "Can you just pay what I've asked?" Like there was a kid actually it was his mom, but she was selling a Super Nintendo and like 7 games on
Wow.
Facebook Marketplace for $100.
Hmm.
Now, that's a pretty damn good deal. We got
Yeah.
Super Mario World, NBA Jam, like some good stuff, Mario Kart.
She's
We
find
got
it in her
some good
basement and think it's not worth anything or what? Like, I don't know why she would sell it that cheap.
I think it was her kids. So I met her at McDonald's and it was her and her kid, and the kid was like 13 or whatever, maybe 12, 13. And I think he was wanting to sell it for that price to buy like a game for Switch or something. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But the point is, I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's this kid's. I don't know why, the Skibidi toilet generation has a Super Nintendo, but whatever. I will accept it. But yeah, no, I'm not gonna try to talk them down. I'm not gonna try to haggle at such a good price.
I'm gonna try and get a better deal out of this guy. He's like, well, now I'm just annoyed. And then, oh my God. And then they're gonna be like, well, I need you to bring it to me. And by the way, I lied on Facebook. I actually live like 3 hours away from you. So if you could drive it to me and lower the price a little bit, then I might consider buying it. Otherwise, don't waste my time. I hate dealing
I
with
ended
people,
up
man.
I ended up selling an old car of mine about 10 years ago to this guy on Craigslist, and his name when he emailed me, his name was John Wayne, like the cowboy
Like the
actor
Duke.
guy. Yeah, the Duke, yeah. And I'm thinking, "Huh, that's peculiar. That's an interesting name." And, he's talking about how he wants to meet at this place or whatever, and he's got the cash. and we meet at the bank or whatever because we need like a notary or whatever.
Mhm.
And the guy gets out of the car and it's like him and his wife, and it's just like this like 300-pound black dude. And I'm like, I don't think his real name's John Wayne. I could be wrong. And then he pays me in like all 20s, which I thought was weird. And I'm like, and it came, he got him out of a paper bag, and I'm like, huh.
Well,
I'm like, well, I mean, I'll take it. I put all the 20s in my bank, but
don't
nice
ask
guy. But
questions.
yeah, nice guy. I'm not gonna ask any questions whatsoever, man. But yeah, the point of all this is though is that the whole online sale thing, not really my cup of tea. I prefer, eBay, and even then, people are assholes a lot of
Dealing with
times.
people
So.
in general anymore. I don't know if I'm just jaded anymore, but just dealing with people in general. I think it's a lot of it's because we've been fortunate enough to do what we do for so long. I spend all day every day here. I'm at my computer about 10 plus hours a day, and so just dealing with the general public is frustrating a lot of the time.
Quick segue here before I get into the next part on this little podcast. Today's sponsor will help make people suck less. Well, it'll help your brain deal with them. Your bone marrow stops producing stem cells after 40. And this bone marrow is where your body makes repair cells, better known as stem cells, among others. And these are the cells that rebuild muscle, repair blood vessels, and help your body recover when something breaks down. But here is the scary part: by age 50, production drops by up to 75%. You literally stop healing yourself. But cocoa flavanols change that signal. This powder right here wakes your stem cells up like an alarm clock. It signals your bone marrow to wake up and start releasing repair cells again. Harvard scientist Dr. William Lee backs this up.
If you actually give people who have coronary artery disease, so they've got narrowing of their blood vessels and stiff, hard blood vessels, if you measure their stem cells and then see how many stem cells are floating around their blood, which is not many, then researchers have given them 2 cups of dark chocolate in the form of hot chocolate. That's it, 2 cups to have a day for 30 days. And at the end of 30 days, you take out your blood and measure the stem cells again, and then do that flow media dilation resiliency test again of the blood vessels to see, have they changed? This is what's amazing that's been found. That dark chocolate, the proanthocyanidins, not only got into the bloodstream, but they doubled the number of stem cells circulating in your blood vessels, and they doubled the resiliency of your blood vessels just over the course of a month with as little as 2 cups of hot chocolate that's dark.
You heard right, dark chocolate, but here's where people get it wrong. The flavanols, the part that actually does anything, gets destroyed when chocolate is processed. Regular chocolate has 50 milligrams of dead flavanols, but Black Forest high flavanol cocoa powder has 1,200 milligrams of pharmaceutical extracted flavanols. And these stem cells that will be released, well, they turn to anything that needs fixing: muscles, blood vessels, even brain tissue. This stuff is made in the USA. Nothing else remotely compares to the power that is in this powder. So Black Forest just opened a 48-hour access window. So right now, when you get their high flavanol cocoa, you're getting NMN completely free. Not discounted, not a trial, a full $100 of NMN product free. And on top of that, the cocoa itself is 40% off during this window, the biggest discount they offer all year. So don't wait, go to their site now and get this stuff while it's still cheap. Peep the pinned comment and the video description. So my mom's a contractor, but she's getting older, so she can't do it like she used to. So I'm like, hey, Mom, I'll do the physical labor. You tell me what to do. Let's build something if you want to do it, because that's what she really loves to do. It's kind of like us making commentaries and stuff.
Yeah.
But since she can't do it, I'm like, hey, let's do something together. And I would say that, and then I would start thinking about it, and I'm like, she would want me to rent this place out or Airbnb it, and I'm like, do I want to deal with people? And I would keep thinking that and be like, I keep putting it off just because of that. Like, I don't want to deal with people. I don't want to deal with a lot of Airbnbs have like a no pet policy. I would prefer pets over like children in a house, because children will destroy the fuck out of everything. And I'm like, I can't do a no kids. I can't legally do a no kids policy, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know. So I'm on the fence about that, just because I don't want to deal with people. And it's not the fact that there's not good people to deal with. It's that, I can meet like 100, or I can meet like 100, people, and if 99 are cool, but there's one just major fucking asshole, it's gonna ruin my day, ruin my
Oh, I
whole
mean, that's human beings in
outlook.
general. That's YouTube even. I can get 100 comments all saying great video, love you, all this. One person says something like, fuck you, Nero. Like, well, fuck you. And what I do, and then suddenly you focus in, you hyper. I think it's like a survival instinct almost, like built into humans. Like you look for the negativity sometimes when it comes to that. And again, even people on Facebook, wherever you get 100 likes on a post or whatever, one person says they don't like it, you're like, well, fuck that guy. Why don't you like it? And then now suddenly you're hyper focused on one little thing like that.
Yep. Yeah. With YouTube and stuff, it's usually a weird thing too. Is if people will talk shit in your comments or whatever, or on Twitter, if you say something back and like clap back, they will get horribly offended. And
You're
I'm
the
like,
asshole.
you started it. Yeah, like, you're the one that said, like, if you don't want hands, don't swing first.
Exactly. It happens all the time on YouTube, all the time on Twitter. I swear, people are. I think the world in general is very negative right now, but these people will come at you with some of the most outlandish, stupid shit in the world, like stuff that like is not even even remotely true in any way, shape, or form. Like I've been doing this for so long. Like, well, you flip flop on every subject. You're always changing your opinion. I'm like, when have I ever changed? If anything, I stick my heels in the ground a little bit too hard at times, and I hyper focus on that one thing, and I stick with that one thing. Like, I don't flip flop opinions or anything like that, but they'll say, and that's just an example, they'll say one little thing like, oh, you're always flip flopping your opinion, then it gets a bunch of likes or whatever. I'm like, show me when, like, show me a one example of this, and then they get mad that I'm like getting mad at them because they're just saying the most outlandish shit that makes no sense. And because I guess we're the YouTuber, we're not allowed to clap back at them, I guess.
Well, it's like you said, in several of your videos, you ask, what specifically do you disagree with
Yeah.
whenever you're making a point or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
And I've thought about that. And do you know what I've seen the past, I don't know, 6 months or so? I have seen the people that will disagree with us and what we say about the franchise or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
have been disagreeing with us for years. I will see those people saying the exact same shit that we said like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. Everyone's
Because
slowly
now
getting
it's
on board
like,
with it. And it's kind of weird.
well, I mean, yeah. Like now it's normal. It's like normalized and it's the trend.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't give a fuck about the trend. I just say what I want to say.
I think it's also the world now as well. Everything is BuzzFeed now, you know what I mean? And so a lot of people, they don't even watch the videos. They don't have the attention span for it anymore. They're too brain rotted. But they'll look at the title, they'll look at the thumbnail, and then they'll actually like just base their entire opinion based on that alone. And like you said, and like I've been saying in my videos, when people get upset with me for whatever reason, I'm like, well, what specifically did you disagree with in the video? Like, oh, you're just a grifter, you're a hater, and all that. And I thought about changing my gamer tag to grifter with an O, like drifter. But people like specifically though, like, what did you disagree? Like, what did I say that was wrong? And I had mentioned that one time, and I rarely, if ever, get a response. But my brother made the point the one day. He was like, I don't think it's what you're saying, it's the way you're saying it. I think people just don't like you for some reason. I'm like, well, they can just, if you don't like me, that's fine. Just come out and say it, but don't like make up these like fake straw man arguments or whatever about it. Like, let's actually have a discussion. Like, if you disagree with something I said in the video, then let's talk about it. Let's, instead of just being like, oh, you're a grifter, you're a hater, you're this, that, X, Y, and Z, and whatever. It's like, is this how, I don't know, arguments happen on the internet? Is this like how conversations go anymore? Because people just don't seem to.
Most arguments on the internet happen, I feel like, when it's just like one or both parties are just horribly misinformed, or don't read the fine print, or don't actually properly digest the thing they are consuming and talking about. But that could just be me,
Facebook political posts, anything that like a 50-year-old man is going to post. It's an AI video of like, I don't know, like a bald eagle saving a baby. You're like, well, Joe, look at that. It's just wonderful, isn't it? It's like, that's AI. It's like, you hate America. Like, no, it's just an AI video, man.
These AI videos are going to, they're going to end my mom. I gotta do something. I gotta call Mark Zuckerberg or something, because good Lord. And it's not just, I mean, it's taking over everywhere. There was a video today recommended to me, and I recognized this channel from another video, someone I saw covering it. and it's like these old people, and they're talking about like their biggest regrets in life or whatever, but it's clearly AI generated, like AI generated old people
Yeah,
in
it's
their
very
homes
distinct.
and
It's
shit.
very I can usually detect it right away. It's got a very distinct look about it. But was
Yeah.
it being shared about and everyone's like, oh, that's so inspirational, that's this, that, and the other. And it's like, dude, this was like written by like a guy in India and made with AI. This is not
Yeah.
like some weathered old man, you know, recounting his life and giving you some like wizened advice or anything. This is just it's there to get clicks, it's there to get shared, it's there to, you know, make some I don't know what the Indian currency is, but it's meant to make some of that, I imagine.
Yeah, I don't know the currency either. I don't really leave the US, so you know, it's all about the
Niagara
USD here.
Falls. I went to Niagara
Yeah.
Falls once, but now you need a passport. Back in the day, we didn't have to, so we would just go. We live, well, I was born up in Erie, Pennsylvania, which is like right up there by Lake Erie, obviously, and
Mm.
Niagara Falls was, you know, hop, skip, and a jump away, so, you know, we'd go up there quite a bit, but uh, now you can't leave the country anymore, and frankly, I don't really care to. I don't care to leave my town
Yeah,
anymore.
I'm not a big fan, so, I have no issue driving places.
Mhm.
I guess I'm just like a control freak or something, but it's more so, I've never actually been on a plane, and the main reason my dad was the same way, I don't know what that is, maybe it's just something with us, but, like, he would just drive, like, to from North Carolina to, like, Nebraska, for example, like, he would just drive.
Just to go.
So, yeah, like, if we wanna go on vacation there, I think my brother was there at the time, so he would just make the, 18-hour drive, and I'm like, "Okay, fine." But I think what it is, like, I don't wanna be stuck in a cigar box with people, and I can't get away if someone's insufferable or, a baby's, like, shitting itself every hour or whatever, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, right next to me. So, something about that just I don't really wanna take a plane to another country at the moment. Maybe I'll work myself up to it one day, but
You said you
yeah,
like to
I prefer
drive?
driving.
So
Yeah, yeah.
okay, there's few things in this world I dislike as much as like a long road trip where I'm not driving. I always want to drive. I don't want to be just sat there in the passenger seat. I don't want to be sat there in the back seat. If we're making like a 5 hour trip or something like that, I'm fine with that. It's no trouble at all.
Mm.
But I want to drive. I don't like other people's driving. I hate sitting there. It's hard to describe. It's almost like an anxiety thing. I don't like just being sat there in the passenger seat for like 5 hours. I hate it.
Normally, yeah, normally I would not ride with most people. I got some friends that I trust. They're good drivers, and that's fine. But like for example, we will me and like couple of my friends, we have like a little just group that will go to AEW shows when they're in town or whatever, or not in
Mhm.
town, but
In
I
the
think I just hit
area.
my mic. Yeah, in the area, in the immediate area.
Yeah.
So we'll be driving from like North Carolina to like South Carolina, for example, or North Carolina to Tennessee, something like that. Not too far, but like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And every time we go, the show lets out and it's like pretty late. It's like 10, 11, and we have a 2 or 3 hour drive home. And like it makes me so nervous because I know my friends driving are, and I've offered to drive, they just want to drive or whatever.
Mhm.
So I know my friends driving wake up at like 7 or 8, in the morning. So my job on the way home is just to keep them awake. I feel like so I'm just like a chatterbox. I'm just like constantly
Bringing up
talking
random
to
stories like, so what'd you think about that movie that we watched the one time?
It's not dissimilar to this conversation we're having here because like me and a buddy of mine who always drives, we'll just talk about how shit AI is. Like he works for Google actually, and we'll talk
Oh
about how
wow.
shit AI is or UI or whatever.
Oh, don't
So
get me
yeah,
started about
it's
the UI. Why is the UI for everything now? Just it's all the most bland, boring, basic thing in the world. And it's also this entire. I saw your video on it, and I almost did my own video on it because it's just so frustrating. That guy that showed that Battlefield is just MW2, but worse. I couldn't believe it when I was watching. Like, those are the same menus. It's the same gunsmith. It wasn't good then. It's not good now. Why did they copy and paste that? And I don't know why it didn't click in my head when I first started playing Battlefield that it was the same thing. Maybe it's because we tried to erase MW2 from our memory, which that was the last time, by the way, that we did one of these videos. It was actually December, right after MW2 came out.
Yeah, I went back and watched a little bit of it just to, kind of get the flow going here. And one of the questions you asked me was like, do you prefer like MW2 Shipment or Piccadilly? Like if you had to pick one. And I think I said like, they're both, because MW2 Shipment's like horrendous because they fucked with the containers, which messes up the spawns.
Yep. They changed. So 2019 Shipment was like the worst, and MW2 Shipment was better, but still not the same. And I don't understand how they don't just copy and paste like the regular Shipment. But nowadays the entire game is Shipment, so I don't even care anymore. At the time, I cared. Dude, nowadays, so going into Black Ops 7, you probably know that I always like challenges. I always like a grind, something like that in video games. Yeah. I don't have a single gold gun in Black Ops 7. I got Dark Matter every single year for the past, even in the terrible games. I got Dark Matter in, well, let's see, MW3, and then last year Black Ops 6. I don't think I did it in MW2. I did do it. I did do it in MW2. Even though that game was horrible, I still did, because that's just kind of the person I am. I like that grind. I don't even have a gold gun in Black Ops 7. I just don't care to.
It's funny because when they introduced the whole, like, you get diamond and then you get like the mastery camo, that was in, I think it first started in Black Ops 3. And I did it in that game. And I regret not doing it in Black Ops 4 because it was also reactive or whatever, which was a cool, evolution of that.
Yeah. So Black Ops 3. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say in the SBMM era, like there's no fucking way. Like there's no way. I don't know. I mean, I've watched your videos talking about it. That one in particular where you're just, you were like on autopilot.
Yeah.
I think it was in Black Ops 6 where you were on autopilot and you did so poorly because you're using like the worst. I can't remember what you were using. I think it was like a launcher or something. But like, I think you were like, you had to shoot down UAVs with an RPG. I can't remember, something stupid.
Yeah. On Nuketown. I ended up
inadvertently you were throwing.
I inadvertently reverse boosted. Yeah. I remember exactly what you're talking about now. Yeah. So you had to shoot down UAVs with a rocket launcher, but it's not even a lock-on rocket launcher. It's like really freaking hard to do, and you had to do it like 3 times or something like that in the game, or I forget. Regardless, because of skill-based matchmaking and all that, like I basically would just run to the enemy team and let them kill me over and over so they could actually put up score streaks. But because of skill-based matchmaking, nobody was actually running UAVs. They're all running the higher shit. And so I'm like going 0-50 every single game. And then eventually it took me down to the lowest skill-based matchmaking bracket imaginable, which we saw in the multiplayer data, which they're now hiding. I could actually track it and I showed it in the video exactly. I could pinpoint when it happened when I got into the lowest bracket of matchmaking. And once I got there, I realized, oh no, I've gone too far. These people can't get a UAV if their lives depended on it. I'm going 0-40 every match, and they're still somehow going negative against me. And so I had to like play better to get myself out of the low matchmaking into like the average matchmaking. At that point, I could finally start shooting down UAVs. And just why I did that, I think that grind was so painful. I think it's a big reason why I didn't want to do it in Black Ops 7. But then I showed that clip yesterday of Octane, a literal professional player, one of the best people to play in the world. And he's like, I can't imagine going for the camo grind in this game. Like, I don't care what Treyarch tells me. This might be the worst skill-based matchmaking we've ever seen. He said he has yet to have like a single, like what he would consider to be an easy pub. And this is a pro player. And so when you see people in the comments being like, oh man, I don't know what you guys are talking about. My matches are fine. Everything's all great. It's like, yeah, man, you have a 4KD and Octane sucks at the game. That's it. You figured it out. You cracked the case. That pro player is terrible. And you should be the pro player. You're the good one here. It just, the matchmate, there's certainly something wrong with it. And people are being put in brackets.
I have a weird conspiracy theory because I've seen more pro players than ever talk about the matchmaking. And then I've seen everyone else kind of be like, well, sometimes it feels okay. Sometimes it's not, kind of like if our skill bracket would probably be saying that. I haven't played, but you've been saying that for the most part.
Yeah.
Like,
sometimes it's
okay.
Great. Yeah.
Sometimes it's horrendous and it feels rigged. And my theory, my conspiracy theory is the better you are at the game, there is still a skill, some sort of skill thing where like the better you are at the game, you will only like it's more strict than ever for them, basically.
Mhm.
You're only gonna match with clones of yourself to like a ridiculous degree, basically. That's my conspiracy theory.
Top
Yeah.
10% maybe, and then maybe like the bottom 10, maybe bottom 20% or whatever. Like they're in like their own like very strict bracket. Then everyone else is kind of like this like weird limbo area, maybe. We don't
Yeah.
know, and we'll never know because they hide the data from us.
Yeah, no, seeing them hide the data is part of the course because where they lost me, I was genuine, and this is why I am never, mark my words, never getting excited for anything Call of Duty again. And if they prove me wrong and they, uh, release a good game finally, I will eat my hat and I will give them the credit where it's due, but I am not getting excited anymore because I was genuinely excited for no skill-based matchmaking, reduced SBMM, whatever, classic matchmaking this year, to the point where I made a one single positive commentary about it on the beta. And I'm like, the game's still mid, but whatever, I'll take it. It's like still a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 game, but it's fine. The matchmaking makes it bearable. I'll be playing Battlefield and Black Ops 7 this year, and then 2 days before the game comes out, they rug pull uh the classic matchmaking will be the standard at launch. Some people were saying, "Oh, it's obvious they were going to include the, other playlists, the closed." It's so confusing, these terminologies they use. The
Yeah, I don't really know
closed
what's what
playlist.
now. I don't.
Yeah, but like it's so obvious they would do that, and I'm like, when have they ever done that? How is it obvious? When you say something is going to be the standard for the game, that means it's gonna be the fucking one thing. Like if I say, uh, when I go to Burger King, the standard is burgers, and then you also offer like a bunch of weird, like shrimp, I don't know, like shrimp kebabs, randomly. Then I'm like, well, that's not the fucking standard. You're shrimp kebab king at that point. You know what I mean? Like
I came for a
you're not
burger.
Burger King.
I came for a burger. He gave me a chicken sandwich, man. Like, what's going on here? I want the
Yeah.
burger.
Exactly. So, like, they have never done that. No, it's not obvious they would do that. They made it sound like they were gonna have, the classic matchmaking be the only matchmaking. So immediately, that whole thing is just, even if they didn't change it from the beta or whatever, like just that alone soured me because it's just gonna skew everything, and all the bad players will eventually find their way to the closed playlist.
The beta, I've said for years, I dread looking when the beta is coming up. I know it's gonna be interesting to try the new game. I know people are gonna be wanting to watch the videos, views are gonna be up, interest in the game is gonna be up, and all that. But I always dread the beta because it's always the sweatiest time of year. The only people that play the betas are like the super nerds, like every beta is horrible. And then we had this one, and it was the exact same thing. Then they opened up the matchmaking. Then suddenly, it felt so different to me. It dare I say, almost felt like the old days in terms of matchmaking. Like matchmaking was damn near instant. Lobbies are pretty relaxed. To your point, the game was still pretty mid. Like the maps that we had were not very good. The guns just kind of felt like the same guns we've always kind of had. Some of the score streaks and stuff were actually kind of cool, and some of the field upgrades, but it was an average game or whatever. But the matchmaking, it felt so ridiculously good. And then when we went to the full launch, that was not the experience. And what I don't understand is the beta is always the sweatiest time of year. If you're playing the beta, you're a hardcore fan. If you're playing the launch, you could just be anybody. Anybody's going to play at launch. So why was launch so much worse than the beta if nothing had changed? The beta is supposed to be a sweaty time, and it wasn't. That's the part I really don't understand. It felt so different, and it's backed up by video footage. It's not like I'm just like talking on my ass here. Like I don't even know how many matches recorded of it, and I've shown them in my videos. Like the beta was just different, man. I mean, look at this. These guys are like walked in the walls over here. And then launch was nowhere near comparable to what we had during the beta.
Well, Ace did that test where matchmaking times like quadrupled.
Mm-hmm.
Like pings in the match, changed, and it's not the beta. So it like if it's in the beta and you have that strict skill-based matchmaking, you're gonna have horrible connections. If you're any good.
That's how it goes.
So
yeah.
it just doesn't make sense. Like you have a bigger player pool, arguably, in the full game. Maybe in the beta you could argue that more people played it, but I think so many people, honestly, like did not play it until they did the whole skill-based matchmaking be taken away. But either way, it didn't really move on Steam charts. So I don't know. It's hard to tell. They had all the data. Who
Yeah.
fucking knows? So I don't know.
I suppose
I feel
one
like the
theory.
casual players. Oh, sorry. I was going to
No,
say
you're
that I feel like the casual players are less likely to play the beta, like you said.
Mhm.
So anyway, yeah.
Well, the launch was really bad, historically bad. The worst Call of Duty launch since World at War 18 years ago, which is insane to say that game was 18 years ago. Is it possible there were actually more people in the beta than there were at launch? Maybe that's why the launch felt so sweaty, because like all the casual players played the beta, they're like, "Fuck this, I'm out." And so that's what T-Dog says. T-Dog, he's like, I genuinely believe there's not a casual person that plays this game anymore.
I mean, it could be that, but I don't know. I see the console charts or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So Black Ops 7's was number 7 for top sales of the year, which I found it funny. Again, you covered like Borderlands and Battlefield, which have both fallen off a cliff despite selling really well this year. But no, it's number 7 for the year, and like it's not reflected at all in the most played games, which tells me, and you also deduce this, that it's just people most likely playing on like old gen PS4, Xbox One, playing the free to play like Warzone, and that's it.
Maybe even Black Ops 6. Anecdotal evidence here. There's a guy, he's an older dude. He's a mechanic. He works on our car and stuff. He has a gaming setup in his garage where he works. And to this day, he plays Black Ops 6 on an OG Xbox One just to do his daily challenges. And I think there's got to be plenty of other people out there in the world like him. Maybe not playing in their garage, but people like that. They're playing Warzone, or they're playing Black Ops 6, or whatever the hell on a last gen system. I think that makes up the vast majority of the COD player base, because how can, and you said it plenty of times as well, how has nothing changed? Black Ops 6 was horrendous. Player count went down at a historic rate, yet it always remained number 1, number 2, whatever, right there with Fortnite. Then Black Ops 7 comes out. It's the worst selling COD in 18 years, and it still hasn't moved either. It has to be all the people playing Warzone and all the people playing on last gen. There's no other, what other explanation is there?
Insider Gaming posted an article about Sony. I think I covered it in the video. Sony is like urging players to upgrade to the PS5.
Hey, by the way, we got a PS5 out, right? And then they want to extend it, right? They want to extend the PS5 life cycle.
I've heard different years. I've heard PS6 is coming out 2028. Then
That's what I heard.
2029. Then I heard 2030. So you know what? Whatever it is, it's going to be over $1,000, because AI will have completely sapped every bit of hardware there is in the world at that point. So it'll be a shit ton of money. Most people, I don't think most people will buy it, honestly. I really don't. Maybe I'm completely lost to the console fan base or whatever, as far as knowing how they act or whatever. But if you come out with a console, like seeing how many people are still on PS4 and Xbox One, for example, money's getting tighter. Those people on those consoles probably aren't upgrading because of money. They're not buying the new Call of Duty, and they're staying on Warzone just because of money. If you try to sell those people $1,000+, I'm telling you, it'll be near $1,000, if not more.
Oh, think of the games.
What's that?
Oh, think of the games as well. GTA reportedly might be $100. Are we talking like $120, $130 by the time like the PS6 comes out for a game?
They're gonna use it as an excuse to up the price to $80. Yeah. Didn't they do that with Switch already? Switch 2?
There's a number of games I think that are going up towards $80, but GTA apparently they're talking it might be the first $100 game, and then once one game breaks that seal, then other games are going to try and follow suit. Now, whether or not it works, I don't know, but I can't imagine. I live in a small town. I'm pretty sure you do as well. A very small town, very rural. I know so many people that are still on last gen, and they still play like last gen stuff. They're not upgrading because they can't afford the consoles, or they just don't want to invest that much money into a new console or whatever. And then you're going to tell me they're going to have they already don't want to buy the consoles right now because the prices are going up. Who's going to buy $1,000 console? I don't see it. How good could this console be to justify $1,000? At that point, you get a PC, but you can't do that because of the AI. So,
Yeah. No, I think with the release of those consoles, whenever they do come out, we'll see maybe not a like historic, crash like the 1980s or whatever when they released a bunch of consoles that no one bought and stuff.
hmm,
But I think we will see. I think we are in a recession just because of the whole AI thing completely gutting the affordability of PC gaming when that's been on the rise year after year. Like,
hmm.
those numbers keep going up. But now, like, I could sell my 2 to 3 year old PC at a profit just
Yeah.
because I have a shit ton of RAM in it. Like, I have so much RAM. I bought too much on accident a few years ago, and I'm like, it's so cheap, whatever. I'll just have. I don't even know how much I have. I have a shit ton. That's all I know.
Just hold on to it. Absolutely. At this point, it's only going to increase. It's like buying Pokemon cards, but it's PC. It's just going to keep going up.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I don't know, but whenever they do release the next consoles and Xboxes, I mean Xbox shouldn't even try. I'm sure you saw the numbers. The hardware sales are down like 35%
Oh yeah,
from the
it's
year
bad.
before.
It's bad.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I would probably just throw in the towel. Honestly, there's nothing they can do.
God, poor
Unless they want to
Microsoft.
make poor Microsoft, yeah. Poor Trillion, poor
What do
Trillion
you
with a
think of the
T.
trillion-dollar company? They bought COD and it fell off a cliff. I mean, come on, poor guys.
It always like it blew my mind when Modern Warfare 2019 and Vanguard and Cold War came out, and
Mhm.
you and I both shit on those games, or all three of those games,
Yeah.
and the excuse, I'm sure you saw it as well, the excuse like that people would give sticking up for a trillion-dollar company working their devs to death during, a pandemic
Amidst cube
was that
crawls and stuff. And
yeah, like, Von der Haar probably had to finish off Cold War in his Ram Power Wagon in the desert with satellite internet because the social distancing, is that what they called it? I
yep,
think it
yep, yep,
was.
yep.
I know it's been like 5 years now. But, like, they would give the excuse, "Well, the game was made during a pandemic. Give them, like, cut them some slack." And I'm like, "Well, then don't make the fucking game."
The
Like, if it's
pandemic. It
that
was made. It
shit.
was made over Slack and oh god, I don't have a real job. What's the other thing they use? Come on, the video
So
conference calling. Come on here, you gotta know it.
Zoom.
Zoom. There you go.
Yeah. And I only know that because my mom has to use it once a year to renew her license, so I have to set that up for her. But no, that would be the excuse, like, constantly, like, "Oh, please don't pick on the, trillion-dollar company. They were making a game during the pandemic." Like, it's not the fucking company, like, the devs are being shit on during this. That's why the games suck. Like, they
Mm,
can't go into the office to work. They have to, like you said, use Zoom and Slack and
yeah.
all that stuff. So, uh, I just could not believe that was like an excuse that people would give for a trillion-dollar company to shit out terrible products. Like, I don't know.
And not even
The
just a
COD community is
launch.
weird.
Not even just a
Yeah.
launch. The post-launch support of it. God, Vanguard. Oh, I don't even know how much of Vanguard you played. I tried to wipe it from my memory.
I I played Vanguard a decent amount for the sheer fucking fact that it was so bad. It was almost funny. Like that's probably the most fun I've had with a Call of Duty game in the last, like, since 2019, just because it's so bad. Making videos on it was so much fun because it's like, what did they break today? What is
Every update.
completely fucked up? I mean, there was a bug that lasted like months where you would call in the flamethrower or whatever the fuck that kill streak was, the high-end kills, the juggernaut suit, was that it?
Maybe I might be thinking of
You
something
would call
different.
that you would call that in, and somebody in the comments section back me up. You would call that in, and I don't know if it ever got fixed. It would crash your game.
Oh, I only see. There's so many bugs. I'm not even sure I knew about that. I had a video. It's like 46 problems with the game. This is at launch. It's like, well, to get gold camo on this gun, you have to use an attachment that doesn't exist. There's a whole bunch of like other random problems and all that. But I remember, wasn't there something like if you called in a nuke, a counter UAV would like stop it, or you couldn't call in a nuke if a counter UAV was up in the sky or something like that.
Yeah. You couldn't call in a whatever H bomb or whatever the fuck it was
Yeah.
if there was a spy plane in the sky causing some static. Yeah.
There was fire shipment, the sheer amount of everything being on fire, and I have videos of this. I could find it.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it.
You could throw so much fire on the map, so many thermite grenades or whatever they were called, that it would crash the entire server. So we would just go in and do that on purpose just to crash the game for everybody. The whole game was Krampus. They had like the giant Krampus monster show up and come and just eat your asshole out, and you're just trying to like get your camos and
like I made the argument in my videos. I made the argument like, if you want to do something like that, make it a fucking kill streak. Like I'm sure you agree with me, but the like one of the biggest issues with Call of Duty is how like they are. I'll give them credit. They are putting some pretty interesting streaks in. There's some kind of weird like new streak coming in with the next update.
A
or
smart
whatever.
pistol, a Titanfall style smart pistol.
Yeah. I mean, it's ripping off Titanfall, but still, it's something new to COD. So I'll give them a pass. But like the streaks being shit is just that was the entire fun of Call of Duty, was the streaks. Like how do people that work on Call of Duty not understand that? So I never understood why they didn't make Krampus a fucking kill streak. You know what I mean? Like that'd be fucking cool.
Kill streaks used to be a driving force.
Yeah, no, like Modern Warfare 2, made that. Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, and then Black Ops 2 had like I think the most selection of streaks out of any COD. I could be wrong there,
and
but
they
it had
were
a
so
shit
rewarding.
Ton.
Everyone was
rewarding.
No,
like when you called in a swarm or you called in a chopper gunner or an AC-130, it was the shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it's just like all this. It's like simple stuff. I'm banging my desk here, but it's like simple stuff. Why? Like, how do you not just play a couple hours of one of those old Call of Duties and just be like, okay, this is exactly what we need to bring back. This is exactly what we need to avoid. Done. You could do it with a team of like 100 fucking people. And I know this because a team of 100 fucking people made COD 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, you know what I mean? Like Modern Warfare 3 probably, because all the devs had left at that point. So,
send me $15 to DoorDash lunch, and I'll jump into a Zoom call now that I know what that's called, and I'll help them out. I'll be an intern for them. I'll be kind of a contractor or whatever, and be like, okay, so here's a lot of things that were great about the old games. Here's what's not so great about the newer games. One thing I've always wanted to see is the current devs. You'll see pictures from like Matt Scrons on Twitter or whatever. Every now and then when he gets a good score, he'll post it. I want to watch a dev live stream. Give me like an hour and a half, 2 hour long live stream of them playing the game's multiplayer. And I'm not talking like team deathmatch. Like, hop into Domination. Go play 2 hours of Dom. I want to see how much fun you're having in this.
No. Did you ever see it's a clip from Modern Warfare 2019 of the devs? I think it's like 2 devs live streaming them playing the game, right? And the map comes up and it's Piccadilly, and they both just back out.
No, I've not seen that. I've run into a couple of devs, but while playing, they get the Treyarch clan tag or whatever. But no, I've never seen that clip. That's funny.
Yeah, it's just 2 devs, and then one of the devs goes, "Hey, it's Piccadilly," and the other dev goes, "Oh, back out."
Oh, back out. Oh, I gotta change my class.
No, I think his tone and he wasn't even trying to hide it. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna back out of that one. We're not playing that one." And that's saying something, because that game as a whole had shit fucking maps. So it's like, I don't know.
I have to applaud the audio team though, because that map, while it was shit, there were some like really good audio call outs there. Like every time they're like, "He's by the bus," I'm like, "Thank you. I know exactly where he's at now."
I made a commentary and people thought I was joking. I made a commentary about a nightmare I had where I'm in Piccadilly Square. It's because it's a real fucking. They just took a picture of a street.
They
and made
did
a
it.
map.
They did a good job of actually like recreating it, to my understanding.
Oh, yeah. No, if I was like wanting to walk around and VR stuff, it'd be great. But no, I had a nightmare about like I'm on that map, but it's like the real place, and someone just keeps saying like "enemy by the bus" or whatever over and
By the
over,
bus.
and there's like 20 buses, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" No, that was a real dream I had. Yeah, it's an old commentary. You can probably find it on the channel, but yeah, it's just and yet somehow we're beyond that, and we're beyond Vanguard. Black Ops 7 sold worse than Vanguard.
Yeah.
Let's really take that in. Let's really take that in. I don't think it's worse than Vanguard,
No.
but
No.
but then again, I played Vanguard. I somewhat cared. And I think we're at the stage where it's so much worse to how do I put this? It's so much worse to have people not care than to just hate the game.
There's a Freddy Krueger quote about that. It wasn't Freddy versus Jason. It was like people not remembering that's the bitch, or something to that effect. Like people not being afraid is one thing, but people not remembering you is like a whole other thing. And it's kind of similar to this here. The fact that people just don't care has got to be like the worst part.
Yeah, no. Like I've had people in my comment section saying like BT, no, like no offense to you, but I'm unsubscribing from all Call of Duty channels because I'm just there's no bringing me back.
Yeah,
like, I'm done. And I'm like, nah, it's totally fucking fine, man. That's why I'll make videos bitching about the weather playing Modern Warfare 3 or whatever, which I need to find a way to get safe Modern Warfare 3 gameplay because I don't know how to do it safely on PC. I think HMW is kind of the same thing.
A lot of it's it's
a
a whole like amalgamation, and I think there's an update to it recently. I should be more up to date with this, but a lot of it is MW2 and COD 4 maps. But they have all the MW2 COD 4 weapons as well, but also a bunch of Modern Warfare 3 stuff. So like the CM901, stuff like that. I'm trying to think of other weapons. I think the MW3 version of the G360 is in there. Stuff like it's a whole amalgamation, which at what point is COD going to do the exact same thing? We used to have COD Online, or I guess China had COD Online. I wonder if we're going to reach that point where they're just going to say, you know what, this isn't working anymore. We're going to have to do either remasters or just a whole like best of style Call of Duty game, kind of like COD Mobile, but for everyone else.
I mean, if Modern Warfare 4 does not, I don't think it's going to do well at all. I really don't, because for one, they're taking away that 50. I mean, from what Insider Gaming said in their article, it was about 50% of console gamers are just still on last gen. So if they take that away for Call of Duty, they are butchering their market, like their main market. The people playing Warzone right now, keeping them at number 2 or 3, will be gone. You know what I mean? If they're casuals, I don't see, like, I don't know. I just don't see them shelling out hundreds of dollars.
I might have missed it. Is that like the running leak right now that MW4 is going to be current gen only?
From what I understand, yeah, it's not going to be old gen.
See, so I like the idea of them doing that solely for the fact that you're not holding the game back or anything like that. But like you say, you're getting rid of like roughly half your player base. And given the fact that Black Ops 7 was already like the worst selling COD in nearly 20 years, imagine having that and following it up with like, well, hey, here's Captain Price. And by the way, 50% of you can't play. Quit being poor. Go buy a console. I don't think that would work. I don't, man.
They just up the prices of the new consoles as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, what the fuck are they going to do? I don't know. And it's not like, people are, I think homelessness, I read this statistic, so it might be a little paraphrased, but I think homelessness is at an all-time high. Like, I think it's at an all-time high, or it's like the highest it's been since like the Great Depression era or something like that. So if those people, I mean, I don't want to generalize people on old gen consoles because I get it. There's no real reason to upgrade if all you play is fucking Madden and like NBA 2, like sports titles and Call of Duty,
Minecraft and Roblox.
Minecraft and Roblox and GTA. And Fortnite.
Yep,
and
that's it.
GTA
That's
5
it.
and
Those are the games. It's been that way for like 5 years now. Those are the only games.
Do the WBE games come out on old gen? I think they do.
I don't know. They're already
If it's
advertising the next one. It's already making me mad. You strike me as the kind of person that doesn't buy them. Do you play the WWE games?
I used to love them back in the day when they were, as an example, I love the PS1 SmackDown games. I love the PS2 SmackDown games, like Here Comes the Pain. I loved the N64 wrestling games like No Mercy and WCW NWO Revenge and stuff like that. I have not played one and liked it since, I want to say, whenever they took out Create a Move, because that was so stupid.
I only know what that one was, but so if COD is military Madden, WWE is like wrestling Madden, you're paying for a roster update every year. And what kind of got me is I follow them on Twitter or whatever, and I saw they're advertising, they're going like this whole like Attitude Era edition or whatever of the new game.
I saw that, yeah.
Well, I looked at the picture. So I bought last year's game. We went to a local wrestling event, like just like a small indie promotion, not like AEW or not like that. And it was really cool. I had such a good time there. I bought the game, last year's WWE game, and when they showed this new edition, the Attitude Era edition, I'm like, every one of those wrestlers is in the current game I already have. What's the point? And I think they might be able to bring back the Hardys, because isn't TNA part of WWE now or something? So the Hardys might be able to come back. But for some reason, because Sting's still out of there, so you're going to have WCW versus NWO, but Sting's not going to be there. How's that going to work? I mean, you got Hollywood Hogan. That's cool. But no Sting? What's the point?
I saw the cover for that. They have like several editions. So they have the Attitude Era edition, and I saw another one, but it was like, I'm not sure what it was. It was like, I can't even remember. It was like two different editions though, and one was like Attitude Era. So you get, like it's like, it looked pretty cool. Like the art looked pretty cool because it's like the big names of the '90s. So it's like, Hogan and Booker T, and then like Stone Cold and The Rock, on both ends or whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool, but I'm like it's like you said, if they're already in the last game, what's the point? And then there's another edition. So like from what I understand, I'm just outsider looking in here. From what I understand, you can't get all the wrestlers they're advertising unless you buy both editions or buy some like super edition or something.
Yeah, and or maybe it's like Pokemon, where like this edition has these wrestlers and this edition has those wrestlers.
Oh my god!
You have to trade.
Don't give them dude. Do not give them ideas, or we will get Modern Warfare 4, and then like Modern Warfare. I don't know, the kanji symbol or whatever. So who fucking knows?
The Korean one, yeah. You gotta get a link cable for your PCs, and then you can actually trade over. Hey man, I'll trade. So my game's got the M4. I see you got the AK. I got an extra M4 if you want to trade.
Dude, it would not surprise me. I'm serious. It would not surprise me if they started doing that, because I have seen them do every scummy thing under the sun. I saw them. You remember this last year where that update came out, and it was advertising bundles from the shop in your create a class like loadout.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. The kill cams too, in Black Ops 6. If somebody killed you, there was a button on the bottom right of the kill cam. I think it's like hold in Y or whatever. And it will favorite that blueprint and show it to you, show you the shop bundle right after you get outside the match. They monetized kill cams, BT. They monetized kill cams.
in Vanguard, they did that too with the stupid. I can't even believe I'm saying that, because every time I think of it, I'm like, they had some low res like GIMP fucking image, the image editing software.
Kill cam overlays. Kill cam. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. There was a pilot. There was a cockpit. I used to back when I used to live stream. I think there was like an alert or whatever that would like activate the cockpit mode. So this stupid fucking PNG is now over the live stream as we're watching. Hey man, isn't this cool? The kill cam, but we're in like a plane.
It's just no effort, and everything with actual effort is like. So I've been keeping up with the COD news on X or whatever, just like a burner account, and I follow the like Charlie Intel and stuff like that, and Detonated as well. Detonated will tweet out that like stuff coming back or whatever, or new features or whatever, And like literally everything, I shit you not, every single thing in Black Ops 7 that is being advertised is either such and such returns or it's like stuff you have to buy. It's stuff in Black Cell or some skin that's
Hmm.
like $30. Where is just this is new and it's coming to the game and it's fucking free. And if you want it, give us like $10 for a map pack and like, you know, a season update. Remember back in the day, you probably remember this. Uh Bad Company 2, the Vietnam update. Remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like where the fuck is that? Payday 2. You ever play Payday 2?
No, no. A lot of people liked it. I just never. I think I wasn't into PC gaming at that time. Was it out for console? I don't remember. But
Yeah, but it's not good on console.
a lot of people
Yeah.
played on PC, and I think at the time my PC wasn't quite good enough, or there was something. I remember watching like videos of it and stuff. But I never got to play it.
Payday 2 would do this thing where like just for years after the fact, and they still do it. I'm pretty sure they actually are still, or they just put a team on Payday 2 to make more content for, or at least bug fix stuff, because like Payday 3 was such a colossal flop. But anyway, um, that's it. The new game's so bad, they're going back to the old game and releasing content for it.
That's everything
But
now.
yeah, no, it's like the Borderlands 2, Borderlands 3 thing. But like
Yeah.
that game would come out with new content and it would be like $5. And you didn't need it to still matchmake. It was just like, you know, like a new gun, new character, new perk deck or whatever.
An actual
So
microtransaction, not a $20, $30 macro
yeah,
transaction. Yeah.
I don't think I ever paid more than $10. And they'd have sales too, so you can get like all the old stuff for like $2 a piece, you know, a pop.
Hmm.
So it's like I don't know. Again, I'm stuck in my ways. I'm old school. Can we just get a game where it's like, hey, pay us $10, you get an entire fucking like Vietnam update to Battlefield 6 or something. You know what I mean? Like,
How
can we just
sick
do
would
that?
a Vietnam update to that game be? Bunch of big Vietnam style maps like the helicopters and all that. Oh, dude, that would be sick. That'd be so
It
much
would
better
be
than what we have
amazing.
now.
It would be amazing. I'm not sure what they have planned for season 2. Battlefield 6, I like the gameplay, but whenever it's like whenever that guy Swagulay
Mhm.
pointed out all these similarities to Call of Duty's business model and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, this might explain why I'm really sick of the game already.
Yeah.
Right after season 1 dropped, pretty much, because I don't know. I'm just like, man, I've seen all this before, but I'm not really sure what that means. And I'm like, oh, well, there you go.
I was talking to Pro Westy on Twitter about it, and a big reason why I got burnt out on it, my friends too, the weapon leveling. It feels like COD where you're using the same attachments in every single gun. I feel like I'm not making any
It's
progress when I play. It's fun. Like that Eastwood map, I'm not sure, the season 2 map, they dropped 2 maps so far in the entirety of almost 4 months of games from now. One of them, Blackwell Fields, is awful. Eastwood's pretty good.
Yep.
I'll play Eastwood.
Eastwood's good. Yeah, Eastwood's
And
good.
I enjoy it, and I have fun playing in the vehicles and just all the crazy shit that can happen in Battlefield. But then the game ends, and it's like, all right, well, I barely leveled up. My gun didn't do anything. I didn't earn anything. I mean, I had fun, but at this day and age, and I talked about, we're not in 2008 anymore. You can't just like drop a game where you expect people to go in there and just, you know, shoot a couple people, maybe drive around in a tank, and then be like, man, that was the greatest gaming experience ever. I'm going to put 300 hours into this game. There has to be something else. And
There's not a
Battlefield
lot
doesn't
of
have
depth.
that.
Yeah, there's not a lot of depth. Yeah.
Total Biscuit said years ago, actually about one of my favorite video games ever, which is Fallout 4. He said Bethesda games in general are like oceans that are about the depth of a paddling pool. And I feel like Battlefield's kind of that way, where there's a lot to it. Like the maps are relatively big, wherever there's a lot of guns and whatever, but there's no real depth to it. It's very surface level almost. And I think a lot of people get burnt out. I've gotten burnt out on. You and I were two of the biggest supporters of the game, from the Call of Duty community perspective anyway, when it was coming out. And then now, do you know anyone that still plays Battlefield? I can't. It's like pulling teeth to get my friends. I'm like, you guys want to hop on Battlefield or something like that? No one cares right now anymore. Even the Battlefield YouTubers are going through it. Tactical Brit, poor guy, made a whole transition to Battlefield and everything. And I think he's going like 2 weeks between uploads at this point, because there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing to talk about, nothing to do, nothing to. I don't know how between that and COD rug pulling the matchmaking. Borderlands 4 having as many players as a 14-year-old Borderlands 2.
I saw that.
If it,
That's so sad.
See, part of me feels like you and I are those Muppet characters, the old men up there in the rafters poking fun at everything. I feel like that's us in a nutshell. But at what point, I think we're just right. How can we not be anymore? Everything just is rough right now. This is what I cannot tell you. Like, I was so excited going into this year.
Yeah, no, me too. No, I was
so excited.
And we were both making we both made positive videos for stretches,
Mhm.
of time. I mean, I made a I made a video. I mean, I made a positive COD video on a fucking, modern Black Ops game.
Mhm.
What was like one, but still I did it. But no, because people may not know this, but like we met officially during Black Ops 4.
Yeah.
And then, we would play on that, and I play with your friends and stuff, and sometimes my friends would hop on. And Black Ops 4 at the time was seen as a downgrade from Black Ops 3, and it wasn't super well received because it had no campaign. And Blackout, while people liked it, they didn't support it, of course,
Yeah.
because they were wanting to do Warzone.
Mhm.
So it was like it was a mixed bag, like a mixed opinion type of game, where you had people being like, well, it's not as good as Black Ops 3, and there's no campaign. That was like their biggest issues with the game. And while I agree with people, it wasn't as good as Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 was fucking really good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Even being
Black
jetpack, and I'm not a jetpack fan. Black Ops 3
I'm
was
not either.
awesome.
Yeah.
That was the first game I got Dark Matter in. I loved that game.
Mhm.
I love that game so much. I have like a dozen videos, maybe not that much, of Easter eggs in Black Ops 3. I had fun. I had so much fun in that game. I would go to private matches looking for little Easter eggs and shit. And I remember, I can't remember the names of the maps. I'm getting old. But the one map had like these riot shields, like the exact same riot shield models from Black Ops 2, which some people say are reused assets or whatever. But at the time, I considered that to be an Easter egg. I'm like, that's cool as shit. Look at that there. There was a time where I used to be happy when I played COD. And Black Ops 3 was one of them. And Black Ops 4, I get so much flack for it. But Black Ops 4 to me is like a top 3 COD of all time. Maybe top 5. It's up there. I loved Black Ops 4.
When I first played Black Ops 4, I really fucking liked it because they upped the health. I like the longer gunfights.
Mm-hmm.
And as the game progressed, I was like, you know what? This is a really fucking solid, like, this is probably the most solid COD, like, gameplay-wise, as far as just there's nothing broken. There's a lot of good stuff for variety, you know what I mean? Like, nothing was broken. There was a lot of good stuff for variety, and the shop wasn't insane, at the time. Nothing was, like, crazy in the shop. The maps were maybe not classics, but they were all good. I don't think a bad map existed in that game. It was it was a very consistent game.
I said the same thing.
I always think
There's no all-time
great
classic.
connections.
There's no all-time classic map in that game, but there's no bad ones either. They're all just solid. There's no high rise or terminal or firing range or whatever iconic map you can think of. There's nothing like that, but they were just all good, and that's all we needed, man.
It was they streamlined, and I like this part. They streamlined all the fucking attachments.
Mm-hmm.
So each weapon kind of had its own individual attachments, if that makes sense, so that each one felt more unique, and all the attachments they would give you were pretty much useful. You know what I mean?
There wasn't a what do you call it, bloat like we have ever since
Right.
Gunsmith was added, where we have like 15 different barrels that all basically do the same thing.
Right. And it was a very streamlined, consistent experience, and I liked it a lot. And I played it 2 years in a row because MW 2019 sucks so much fucking ass. So I do really like that game. I would consider it top 5. Yeah. Just multiplayer wise. I going back, and maybe this is nostalgia speaking, but like at the time, Black Ops 3, I think Black Ops 3, I put that right up there with Black Ops 2, if not,
Mm-hmm.
if not better. And that might be crazy to say, but like I love Black Ops 2, but like Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, and Black Ops 4, I thought were all good to great. And yeah, I would put Black Ops 4 up there in the top 5, I would say. Yeah.
I was listening
Nowadays,
sorry.
oh no, I was gonna say nowadays, like I think I honest to God think my number one Call of Duty, and maybe this is because I'm looking at gameplay of it, but I swear to you, I had the most fun on MW3. I loved MW3. I think I actually, I don't know if it's, I don't think it's a better game than Black Ops 2, but I just think it's so much fucking fun. And I wish we just kept going with that, like, Modern Warfare, Black Ops trading off, year after year or whatever.
Yeah.
Just keep doing that. I don't know why they stopped and segued into Ghost and Advanced Warfare and all these other shitty CODs. But yeah, maybe a World War II game every now and then. But yeah, anyway, go ahead.
Well, I just remember, I was listening to the video that we did, God, 4 years ago, wherever it was, and people, for starters, always kind of considered both of us to be Treyarch fanboys, which I think that just comes down to, we judge every game based on its merit, and Treyarch just for years, they were on a generational run there. I mean, Infinity Ward was too, actually. COD 4, MW2, MW3, they couldn't be stopped. Neither could Treyarch. It's only when they pivoted to the three developers, when Sledgehammer had to show up, and then for some reason, and I get they wanted to try something new. I always said Call of Duty Ghost was like them just throwing ideas at the wall. They got rid of the UAV. They changed up the whole prestige system. A bunch of stupid ideas that in retrospect, maybe they were just trying to differentiate themselves from their other franchise, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
It was not good. Yeah. And then Advanced Warfare wasn't horrible. It just wasn't good. I didn't care for the jetpacks and all that, and then after that, nothing was ever really the same until Black Ops 3 came out, and it's like, God, Treyarch still has it. They took this whole advanced movement thing, and they still got it. And then Black Ops 4, I get a lot of people didn't like it, but where we disagree, though, for me, anyway, I didn't care as much for the OGMW3, and I know you did not care for World War II. I love COD World War II. So I think we're on the same page with like every game, but every person's different, has their own different ideas and all that. And so for the thing for us is we swap, I guess, MW3 and World War II. And that's where we are.
Well, I will say this. I know they overhauled World War II like 6 months later down the line. And I heard from people that were still playing it, I was not one of them. I heard that the overhaul was really, really good.
It was.
Yeah, the game, was what it should have been at launch. So my main issue was like, here is Black Ops 3, right? Black Ops 3 is fucking phenomenal. I don't really care if it has jetpacks or not. It's a good fucking game, right? And then here comes World War II, and it's like advertising boots on the ground, and it's stripping away a lot of the stuff from Black Ops 3 that I liked. And I wasn't a huge fan of Sledgehammer after Advanced Warfare. And I'm like, why are they making a World War II game after making an advanced movement game? Like what's going on?
Real juxtaposition there. Back to our roots and all that. And
yeah. I will say that after they did the overhaul, it seemed a lot better. It's just it came so late that I didn't bother with it.
A lot of people didn't.
But looking back at gameplay and stuff, I'm like, man, this is a good, like, this game holds up. It looks good. I'll see you playing it or whatever. And I'm like, it looks good. There's a lot of nice grounded camos for the game, which fit the universe. The big hub or whatever, at the time, I wasn't a huge fan of it, but now looking back, I'm like, that's a pretty cool idea. They should bring that back, so I look back on it more fondly than when it came out, I will say. So
the headquarters, especially, I love that. I love every day there was something to do. There's so many weapons added to the game. A lot of the DLC maps are really good. And I feel like ever since MW 2019, when they went with the free map packs, which was a good idea. The idea of a map pack is so antiquated, but the quality of what we get post-launch DLC maps and all that, it has gone so downhill ever since back when we were paying for maps. I showed in a recent video the DLC maps for Black Ops 2. I'm like, not all of these were like instant classics or nothing, but look at them, man. You got fucking Magma. We're like on the side of a volcano in Japan or something like that. There was Vertigo. We're on top of that skyscraper up there and everything. There were so many, like, they were actual maps. They're medium to large in size, and they were so unique and so varied. And now we just get... what did I say the one time? So we got boat shipment, we've got skyscraper shipment, we have apartment shipment, we've got everything's a shipment now, just more or less. And I miss when Call of Duty actually had some thought put into it. I think Black Ops 3 is a great example of a Call of Duty that, the maps were built from the ground up to work with that movement. The specialists, do you like specialists? I like specialists. I think they're cool as shit. I can play with or without them. I like them.
Yeah, no, I mean, Black Ops 3 did it phenomenally, and then I think Black Ops 4, and that's another thing too. They did it really well, but at the same time, the generational run Treyarch was on. Every single from World at War to Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 2 to Black Ops 3 to Black Ops 4, all of those games, every single one of them, it was like, it's a Treyarch game. It's got those little like how it feels and like the things they do,
Mhm.
but every single one of those games is pretty fucking different. Like they can stand on their own.
That
They're
is
different
true.
from the last, and they were still good. So it's like I don't really know what happened. I mean, people will say it's a pandemic, but like going from like all those games to Cold fucking War. And I know some people say Cold War was like the last good COD. And you know what? You're not, they're not technically wrong. Like by the end of the game's life cycle, it was decent. I'll give it a mid grade,
Yeah.
like leaning towards good. And right when the game was kind of getting good, here comes fucking Vanguard. So, whatever that means, but
Van
like
Goated is what they called it.
Vanguarded, yeah. But to go from those generational good Call of Duties that were all different to whatever the fuck, like, Cold War just felt like it just felt like there was nothing in Cold War that Treyarch hadn't done better in a previous game.
I think a big
Like,
part of it's
am
the
I telling
engine.
lies?
No, absolutely not. And I think
Yeah.
it's the engine, right? They wanted everything had to be Modern Warfare / Warzone after 2019. And so I felt when I played Cold War, I'm like, this is like an Infinity Ward game with like a Treyarch coat of paint on it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It didn't have that feel, that vibe, that soul. It was set in the 90s. I grew up in the 90s. I was like stoked for that. Well, no, not 90s. I'm sorry. That was 80s. 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
I was
80s.
stoked for that. The
It
Pines
didn't feel
is
80s.
an awesome map. No,
Yeah,
Pines was the only time it felt like that because it was a mall in the
Yeah.
80s. That was cool shit. Other than that, you could have told me that was 70s, 80s, 90s, fucking 2010. It didn't matter. It all felt the same.
And I don't understand why, like, they're so adamant about these crossovers now, And even back then, they did some crossovers with Scream and Rambo, and those were good. Admittedly, I thought those were fun. Like the opportunity to have a fucking Cold War game in the 80s.
Yeah.
Why in the hell would you not do a Stranger Things crossover? It would have printed money.
Dude, you boot up you boot up the game and you have the Stranger Things theme song going on.
Yeah,
It fits
and
so
it feels
perfect.
80s.
Yeah, it would
Yeah,
fit so
it feels
perfectly.
80s. You could have done anything. I mean, if you really think about it, Die Hard's 90s and so is Scream. So why the fuck were they there? Rambo, I could, get on board with. That's fine. But it's just, I don't know, so many fuck ups and missed opportunities. It's just like, it'd be like, you're a wrestling fan. So before Triple H took over modern WWE or whatever,
Mm.
Vince McMahon was on like this generational out of touch run,
The PG era.
Yeah, like it feels like he just left WWE and went to Call of Duty or something. Like the suits that run the show are so fucking out of touch. The fact that they thought an American Dad crossover would fucking work
A show from the
in Black Ops
2000s,
6.
and it's from the 2000s, but the game's set in the 90s, and we've got. I love posting footage of that trailer in my videos because it almost looks like it's not real. It's like no, they didn't do that, right? You got Roger running around with his golden turd, and you got Stan Smith karate chopping people, and he looks so terrible. He's got that giant like Seth MacFarlane chin, like Joe or whatever,
Oh
and
my God.
it looks so out of place.
And it's not even that. It's they're like, oh, it'd be fucking cool, like like Jay and Silent Bob. And I'll say this: it is 90s, but most I hate to generalize. Again, I feel like most of the COD player base are either dads in front of their fucking like TVs,
Mm-hmm.
like 60-inch TVs, in like the garage, like you said.
14 feet away from their 60-inch
Yes.
television.
They're that, or they're like 10-year-old kids, and there's no rule in between. And the 10-year-old kids don't know who the fuck these people are. They don't know who Kevin Smith is.
Who's Kevin
And,
Smith? What's a blunt man and what's a chronic?
Yeah. Or, you know, they're 50-year-old dads that are well beyond that being like, you know, a thing. Like they're not gonna be into Jay and Silent Bob. I know they did like Cheech and Chong or whatever. And I'm like, the majority of the COD player base don't know who the fuck Cheech and Chong are.
Or even see
Like
the
they just
single
don't.
or never saw the movies, never, you're like, who is that, the guy from that
Yeah.
70s show or something like that? I
Yeah.
don't know.
And it's like it's just I don't understand. They had Seth Rogen there, and I'm like, who is this? Who is the game for?
The Seth
Like,
Rogen stoner game. They did everything, man. How do you have Squid Game and Seth Rogen in a rainbow suit giggling his ass off, and then you have American Dad randomly showing up, then Jay and Silent Bob are jumping, and then we need Beavis and Butt in here as well because that, of course, that fits.
Don't forget Chucky and Tiffany,
Yeah.
but not really. They're like giant, whatever.